Michael, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, Johnny? Or may I say, oh yeah, Johnny?
Over in now. Hey, man, it's great to have you on. It's great to see you. There's an obvious thing I want to unpack here about how Vegas is getting back on track to, almost 100% capacity in most places. Businesses are now starting to thrive. People are out there looking to do their thing. And you certainly are a pioneer in that industry. What was your past year and a half like? What were you doing to pass the time? And what brought you to this place that we're at now to now you can finally get back to your great industry?
Well, that's a good question. For 27 years in this entertainment industry here in Vegas, I've never stopped working. We don't do that. So even when you had the housing blow up and the war or whatever it was, it still was nothing as of what just happened, as of the world shut down and Vegas shut down. And for me, I never thought that would happen. Now, you look back for that year and a half, we were rocking and rolling from December, and then we go January, February, Super Bowl. We're heading into March Madness, one of our biggest months in Vegas. We're ready to, lay down the bets and have all the college teams and everybody around come up, and then shut down. And that's where it became tricky, where a lot of us thought, okay, 3 months, maybe summertime, it's the flu or whatever it is. Well, during that whole time, we have the greatest owner at South Point, and that's Mr. Gone. And he was able to furlough everybody and make sure we all had our benefits if you were furloughed. The directors, some of us in other departments were still working. Our salary was cut, but we still had our benefits. We still had a job to go do. So at that time, we took advantage of cleaning our hotel. I mean, at that time, we still had 2 towers left of our hotel of renovating. So he kept everybody working that had to renovate the hotel. And during that close time, that's what we did. And my job as an entertainment, and I was probably one of the or I would say the only entertainment director that had a job. And that's crazy. And I flushed toilets. I ran sinks. I was in 2,000 hotel rooms, in and out, making sure everything's working. I was painting. I was cleaning. I was a bellman. When we did open back up, we got a surge in June and July, and I was a bellman. I mean, you name it. I did every job possible in our hotel for our owner, because he is the best and there's nothing like him. And I was able to bring back my staff during the COVID times, and we were doing bingo events. We were helping other departments with their lighting or sound or anything that they needed help. I have 5 guys that are awesome. And you know what? We kind of just made it through. And now here we are. We're 100% open.
That's how you do it. You protect your fortress. That's what you were doing. Obviously, you're a team player, and that is very, very important, because that makes the person that is working as a team with everyone want to be a team player. And so now we're at this point where you guys are back and fully established and running at 100%, got entertainment coming through. Let's flash back real quick. What got you into the entertainment field? Because I know you're a passionate worker. I've known you for a while now, and I know that you like to book stand-up comedy acts. You like to also book music, and we'll flesh all that out in a moment. But
oh yeah,
what got you bitten by the entertainment bug, if you will?
It goes actually back. My family's been in entertainment. My grandpa at one time was working with the Three Stooges back in the day and the Vaudeville Folly shows, and he was a comedian, and he was funny, and he danced, and he sung, and it was awesome. And then it skipped a lot of generations of, there's some musical talented of my father's very musical. One of my brothers is very musical, but we all got in the entertainment world of some kind. I was a break dancer, Venice Beach, California, up and down the California coast at 5 and 6 years old, made money to help support mom and whoever else in our family. So that was fun. And when I got to Vegas, I saw my very first concert, 1994, MGM, Phil Collins, diehard Phil Collins Genesis fan. And I watched it, and with my whole family, I met Phil backstage for about an hour with my whole family. And I just sat there in awe. And I looked around at the end of the day, and I went to my brother, who was here 10 years before and he was running the MGM Grand Garden Arena. So that's how we got our tickets. And I looked at him and I said, I want to be in entertainment. I want to do this. I want to figure out how to do this in 94. So I went back home, packed my stuff, came back up. I lived on 3 of my brother's floors in their apartments and houses until I was able to afford mine, and went to UNLV and started working up the ladder as a stagehand, box office manager, supervisor, clerk, security, usher, ticket taker, lights, sound, you name it. I've been every position in entertainment and also in the hotel business, because if we were slow, or once again, during certain things that hit the economy, you shift, you pivot. And that's something that was so valuable this last year, is pivoting and learning to do other stuff.
Adapting. Like, once the pandemic hit, I said to everyone this, I'm like, we have to be creative. Now's the time to be creative and find resources to maintain. Like, businesses will suffer, whatever you might be doing right now will suffer, but it will pan itself out. But in the meantime, we have to cope. We have to have coping devices, whether it's family, television shows, things that you like. Go back to, like, if you're an artist, if you like to draw, if you like to write, if you're a musician, go back to your craft, that whole skill set. And so, like, what you're saying right there about the industry of running, and working for a casino, like doing all facets of the game. Like, I worked in the restaurant business for a long time, and if you're going to be a manager, which I had done in the past, and also for another company, you got to know everything about the company. You got to know how the kitchens run. You got to know how to wash dishes. You got to know how the food servers are running out the food. You got to know what the drinks are being poured. You got to know everything about the industry from the bottom all the way up. And that's why you guys are so successful. And I've been going through your battery of things that you have upcoming, which is very exciting. And everyone in Vegas is so excited that now it's open arms. Like, we are here. We're back.
Oh, you know what? If I can explain to you, Johnny, that the weirdest thing is I have a calendar. I'm very, I draw and I make X's and O's and arrows. And during the pandemic, I would do my thing, and then, okay, these guys going over here, this guy's going on this date. We think we're going to open in May. Oh, never mind, we cancel. I looked like an NFL football coach's playbook, where it has all the X's and O's and all my notes, and yellow and blue and green. And when did I talk to them? Did they say they were going to take a pay cut? Did they not say they were going to pay? Did they say they were going to do 10 shows versus 3 shows? It was wild. And my poor assistant was like, are you ready to redo the calendar? And I was like, not yet. I got some more drawings to do. So I started keeping my calendars because they were so crazy. And now that we open, I was ready for it. I was like, okay, we're going to do it end of May. We're going to open Memorial Day weekend. I got 14 days to do a year and a half worth of work that I've been waiting to do and preparing and have everybody ready. But it's been so hard. I'm so tired, but it's so much fun. And to see our first show, we did the Righteous Brothers, and it was great that Mr. Gahn was able to get what he wants and with his friend, and able to help Caesars and the Flamingo and that corporate level and say, hey, yeah, we can do it. But the people walking in were so excited. And to me, that was my heart. My staff and me, we just went, okay, one down, here we go. Let's keep this thing going. So it was awesome. But that playbook of changing things was wild during the pandemic. And now to where we are.
Yes, sir. It's got to be such a great feeling. Everyone is so enthusiastic. I love that when I go out, I could actually see people's faces again because they're not wearing masks. So for those that are
Right.
listening, like, it's pretty open, it's pretty loose out here. We always ask everyone to be responsible. Of course, wash your hands, like I always say over here now, you know,
Hmm.
and mask up when you feel necessary. It's your discretion. I don't want to speak for anyone's businesses, but I know that there are certain places that still want people to mask up, and I respect that. It's their business, it's their situation, and it's all good. But it's
Same with you.
yeah,
Same.
it's great. It's great when you actually get to see people though, and everyone's so excited to be out, and they're like, they see you, and they're happy. And like I was at the just recently, I was over at a local casino with my wife, and we're hanging out. And it's just like you're seeing people you haven't seen in a long time because they were very apprehensive. Like a lot of people were
Hmm.
to go out, and
Hmm.
then like they're so happy to see you and they're so happy to be out. And even though like I'm like, how you doing with the slot machine? They're like, not so good, but I'm just happy to be here. So if you're losing money and you're happy, that's you're
You
really
did good.
you're legit happy. Like let's put it that way. If you live in Vegas, people, or have ever gambled, which I'm sure a lot of my listeners have, that when you lose, it's like I never get sour grapes, but no one likes to lose. But if people are excited to just be out and spend money, that's great. And I'm glad that we're all in the position to do so. I know you like to book stand-up comic acts. There's a couple things I was going through with the South Point casinos events coming up. One thing that really intrigued me is the Dirty at 12:30.
Yes, that's a great project. A great project. That was something that was, it's 9 years ago that Ralphie May, myself, Gabe Lopez, and my former boss, Damian Costa, all sat in the middle of the casino at 1 o'clock in the morning having a drink. And we said, after Ralphie's show, Ralphie was like, let's do this old style comedy, like we used to do in the 50s, and make it free and make it fun and da 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 da. And then it was just a conversation. And then my former boss left, and then it was me and Gabe and Ralphie. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm in the position now as director. Just let me hold off on this idea. Let me get my feet wet here and figure out what we're doing and how we can pull this off. Then after that, I called Gabe and I said, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to create a logo. And I started drawing it, and we went back and forth on it. I gave it to my art department. They set it up. And then from there, we launched it on Memorial Day weekend 9 years ago. And we had Ralphie, and we had the cast that we just did last week, the All-Stars that were like part of the very first cast. And it was a successful hit. And then from there, it's not about money. It's just about people having a good time and having a party. So when you go to the Dirty at 12:30, we have it in a lounge, not in a showroom. So when you walk by, you're going, oh, who's up there? Is that, oh my God, that's Carlos Messina. Is that Chris Titus? Is that, and we start to bring in big names just for them to work on new material or help South Point, favor, stuff like that while they're here. And we surprise people. So that's the whole point, was we wanted, and if a lot of my ideas are from a great promoter, who's next? Vince McMahon and all of that stuff. So we came up with sayings and how you have to do stuff. And I created this lights in the room and the walk and the atmosphere, and it blew up. And it's the greatest thing in the world. So in the month of June, it's in the showroom right now at 10:30 at night versus 12:30, because I have a poker tournament going on in my Grandview and I got other stuff. But come July, it gets back to 12:30 at night, and it will be in the Grandview Lounge, and it's free. And your drinks are $5 to $6. I mean, you can't beat that when you're watching free comedy. And like I say, you never know, as the Goldberg would say, who's next?
I love the references to pro wrestling. I'm a big sports fan. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, baseball, everything. I football, everything. And
Mhm.
Vegas. I'm so thankful that we're getting like major sports teams coming in, like Golden Knights. Hopefully they
Mhm.
pull this
They
one
better
out
win
tonight.
tonight.
They have to. Like, I mean, come
Oh,
on, man. And I actually have a friend that was the event coordinator for the Golden Knights for a long time before he relocated to now working with the Seattle Mariners. But you know, I was talking to him about it. He'll be on the show soon too. And we were just like, man, you know, we went from like, you know, doing excellent to like just getting totally roadblocked here in this series. The game the other day was a heartbreak.
Oh yeah, we dominated the whole second period and third period, and you're out shooting them, and you can't score.
Absolutely.
And that the stupid penalties. Come on. Oh, it frustrated me.
Oh, it's so frustrating. So we got to pick up the pace tonight. I want to talk about entertainment more, but like more on a personal level in terms of like, I know you're a Star Wars guy.
Die hard.
I saw the pictures, dude. How awesome was it to be like chilling out by the Millennium Falcon?
All by myself. I'll have to send that or show people. So let's really think about it. There was a huge stress during the pandemic. I mean, to keep people's jobs, to try to figure out if I'm going to keep my job and everybody else, and pivoting and learning and cryptocurrency and learning all this stuff. And then it was stressful. So my fiance is like, listen, the week of the president of Biden getting elected or whatever, going in the house, Disney World is offering this amount money for this day. Let's do it. And I'm like, fine. We haven't been out of the house. We just got COVID in December and January. So we got the immunity supposedly. Let's just go. So we went and we stayed 5 days. And that day we did 2 days in Hollywood Studios because we're diehard Star Wars fans. And that day we just sat there. And I'm like, no one's around. You got to take this picture because that will never, ever be. And she took the picture. And then I have a picture of her jumping. And it looks like she's touching the Millennium Falcon. We went on that ride a couple times. We did the freaking ride of resistance.
Was it good? Yeah, it was good, huh?
The best freaking ride in the world. It has everything that Disney offers and more. And once again, we went in there and you have to, you know, get it at 6 o'clock in the morning and get your time. No one was around. And I was just like, I'm in heaven. This is my Graceland. Thanks, coach. I mean, it was just incredible. Went to the cantina, made my lightsaber. I made a Darth Vader lightsaber as the handle. And then I did an Obi-Wan on the color. So
what did you drink at the cantina? What did you have in the Star Wars?
Oh, we had 2 bottles of wine. That's all.
Oh, okay.
We just sat and had wine and enjoyed the whole atmosphere. We have a gluten allergy and it's hard for us to drink other stuff. We don't know what's in it. So we just had a nice 2 bottles of wine. They gave us this 2 sets special. You have to buy, you know, I got so much crap. I got to still unload my Star Wars room yet. It's not done. As you see in Vanessa's office, it's Alice in Wonderland theme starting. So that's not quite
I love
done.
the enthusiasm about Star Wars because I'm a huge Star Wars guy. I mean, I've watched all the trilogies numerous times and probably like, I'm going to say one of my most favorite film franchises. I love them all. I love the prequels. A lot of people have.
I loved them.
I thought they were, I thought absolutely.
They were great.
Me too. And, you know, the newest ones and all that kind of good stuff. Real quick, Mandalorian. Did you cry? Did you cry at the end of that?
I was screaming from the top of my voice, just going, are you kidding me? And because I had a feeling how it shifted, and I was like, no, yes, this is gonna happen. And she's like, what? I go, I can't tell you. And then when he walked in, I was like, oh my God, she's alive. Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
I was screaming.
So I waited up until I think it was released at midnight here in Vegas, right? And I've done this with other series before in the past, like Cobra Kai, and binge watched it.
I love Cobra Kai.
Oh my God, so good. And I stay up to like 5 o'clock in the morning watching all of them. I tell my wife, I'll be in bed in a half hour. She's like, no, you won't. You're gonna stay up and watch the whole thing. So with Mandalorian, when I was watching it, I had told her prior to, I'm like, I think Luke Skywalker is going to come in this thing. And I wasn't listening to like fan theories or anything like that. I'm like, it's just kind of leaning towards that, you know? And then when I see that X-Wing I was going, oh
That's
my God.
all it took.
I was like, oh my God, now we're in business. And then he comes in and you get the green lightsaber. I'm like, holy shit. And then you see Baby Yoda touch the screen and
Right.
like start to have like this connection. And I'm like, my God, what are they? What John Favreau, you're a genius. Like, what
Mhm.
are you doing right now to me? And you're messing with my emotions big time. And so like, yeah, I'm like, dude, I was getting major feels and I'm by myself. And I know my wife's already asleep. And she's told me in the past, please do not come in all excited after you watch something while I'm sleeping and just
How
wait for
can
the
you
next day.
not?
But I can't. I can't do it. I can't.
No.
No. So I'm like, I'm watching this, and then the whole thing where the Mandalorian has to, separate from Baby Yoda, and Luke
Right.
Skywalker is all like putting in the Baby Yoda in its arms, and Baby Yoda's being trusting. I'm like, dude, I was leaking. I was like, I had
Mhm.
to get Gatorade. I'm like, I need to hydrate. I'm leaking. I'm leaking. And then I go to bed, and I just was like, babe, Luke Skywalker returned, and I'm a mess right now. You need to get up and watch this. She's like, I'm not getting up and watching this right now. Like, please go away. Like
We would set like, okay, Sunday we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it. We just made sure we'd watch it, at a time because I knew something big was happening. But like you said, when you saw the X-wing, I was done. I was spent jumping up and down like we scored a goal for the Vegas Knights. I mean, that's how excited I was. Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh, you have no idea what's going to happen. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be wrong. But when he came in, like Darth Vader, what,
Rogue
what,
One
what,
style.
what,
He came
what?
in Rogue One style. Yep.
I
and you
know.
and
Yeah,
you see that one X-wing, and you're like, okay, there's not one person that has enough balls. Let's face facts to just
right,
roll up with one X-wing to do what Luke Skywalker is about to do. Like they're gonna have
right.
a whole pack of pilots and
Yeah,
warriors.
no,
Nope, not Luke Skywalker. He comes in and Rogue One's it. you know,
yeah, yeah. When you so as a kid, Star Wars and was a reference for me growing up, and what I used for my kids. One's 15 upstairs, going to be turning 15. Is God quotes, but just different. Wise one you are. Fear leads to darkness. Darkness leads to the dark side. All that stuff is relatable in life and what you do. And so as a kid, that's how I understood things and how I passed it to my kids is using frickin' Yoda and Star Wars stuff. But all those series and how they tied in Road One and Han Solo and this Mandalorian and how they have all the little flashbacks and the details of all these directors, it's brilliant. I mean, it's the most amazing thing to see. And I'm just happy that I'm able to share that with my kid. And, of course, Vanessa, she's a diehard Star Wars fan. And you see these things. It's just remarkable. I love it.
I agree. And another franchise that we both love is the Rocky franchise. I
Oh,
mean, and speaking about a
that's
metaphor for life, I mean,
crying every day. Right
it's unbelievable, man. Like you know, those movies stand the test of time. I have my favorite. My favorite was Rocky 2. But I do love 1. Rocky 4 is the most, in my opinion, entertaining because it's a very action movie. It's very fast paced. And the soundtrack Vince DiColi did was
Yes.
absolutely insane. Like,
The
how do
best.
you not go to the gym at least 20,000 times in your life and not put on the Rocky 4 soundtrack?
I think I've done a million because that's been my
Exactly.
soundtrack since seventh grade. Seventh grade, every day to this day, even this morning, Rocky
Yeah.
4 soundtrack is my jam for the first 20 to 30 minutes to get me in my mindset. And then I go into other stuff. But Rocky 4 soundtrack, along with 2 other things, is just the best thing in the world. I
Yeah.
just can't.
It's one of those soundtracks that it's like a gym must. And, like Hearts on Fire, in
War,
the heart,
montage, training montage.
Oh, man.
I can picture it all right here. And I'm like, you're going to get that Russian. He's cheating. Oh, no. Lift those logs. lift those logs. Come on, Rock. Come on. You know, no pain, no pain, no pain, no pain.
Oh man, I tell you what, that movie is it's so motivating. Like, and I'm actually drafting a screenplay right now, and I'm paying homage to like back in the day, 80s and 90s martial arts, but with a different twist. But you got to have those montages. You
Mm-hmm.
you got to
Mm-hmm.
have the cheddar cheese, to have the
Even,
baked potato.
even Creed. I mean,
Yes.
bawling my eyes out still. I mean, to this day, if Rocky, it's a remote stopper. Star Wars, I mean, there's a lot of good new ones, don't get me wrong, but Rocky, whatever, they're remote stoppers, and I still get an emotional attachment and a wreck every time I watch it, and I just get so emotional. I'm like, damn, it doesn't matter which one's on. I'm an emotional wreck with Star Wars, that, and I'm sorry, the Cobra Kai series.
Oh yes.
Brilliant. Freaking
Phenomenal.
brilliant.
I had the honor to have on someone that was involved heavily in Karate Kid Part 3, Sean Cannon. I had him on my show twice. Recently wrote a book, Way of the Cobra. He's a great actor. He's got a show called Studio City that's available right now on Amazon Prime. Great guy. And, everyone wants to know if he's coming back. I can't wait to see.
Oh,
he
if
was
I
a great
remember
character.
his name and what character he
Yep,
is.
Karate's bad boy. Karate's bad boy. And it's so funny too, because when you get to know people, and you know about this, you've interacted with many, many great people, comedians, actors, musicians. When you meet them, it's like they're completely different. Like, I'm seeing Karate's bad boy, and then now all of a sudden he becomes this great guy like yourself, like where I'm talking to. I'm like, that's just a normal dude. That shows you the mark of a great actor. Also, what shows you a mark of a great film is the remote thrower, as I call it as well. Like, if I turn on TV and Bronx Tale's on, or Goodfellas, or any movies that I love, like Lethal Weapon or whatever, I take the remote and I just put it away.
Yep.
It goes away. I had a friend of mine a couple years back. They were like, yo, we're gonna go watch football Sunday at the bar, man. We'll meet you over there soon. I said, yeah, sounds great. So I'm getting dressed and I put on the television, and it's like Godfather marathon 1 through 3. I'm like, I'm not seeing you guys today. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I'll be flipping the TV on the weekend if I don't have to work, and like Back to the Future will come on, and I'm like,
oh God, great one.
1.21 gigawatts, only a bolt of lightning. I'm like, I'm right here.
Do you think they're gonna do
it.
a 4? I've heard a lot of rumors, man.
I don't know. I don't think they should, because of Michael J. Fox. That would be hard. That'd be
leave
hard.
it there. Yeah.
Leave it as is. That one's just an incredible 3, and it's good. You just leave it where it's at.
What was your favorite one? Mine was the second one.
I love the first. I really love the first, but I love watching them all because there's so many Easter eggs and there's so many reflections on each one. So they're always talking about the first, the second, the third. It's just, it's too many. But football, football.
Cowboys?
Die hard.
I'm a Giants fan formerly because I know because my team sucks. I'm tired.
Hey, better than
the
the Eagles. Okay, I'll take Giants over the Eagles in a heartbeat. Can't stand the Eagles.
I'll give you that fair trade. Okay, so food. We were talking about the Godfather a little bit and all that kind of stuff. You have an Italian restaurant in there at the South Point called Don Vito's.
Very good.
I looked at that menu. I can't wait to eat it. It's amazing, huh?
Yeah. Everything. We have 11 restaurants in South Point. So whatever you're in the mood for, it's there. I mean, Mexican steak, prime rib, seafood, oh shucks, Zinshin, a deli. Our hot dogs are $1.75, and they're huge, and they're what do you call it? They sit in beer for a whole day before we cook them. I mean, you pick a place. Oh, yeah, it's incredible. It's just right in the middle of the casino. Sits there, and everybody buys like 2 or 3 of them. Oh, it's great. But Don Vito's is good. They have some chicken parmesan's incredible. The pasta, the meatballs, yeah, you name it, it's good. We have the best chefs, and I not say that because I work there, but we have an allergy-friendly hotel. And if you have an allergy or something wrong, or you can't, because I'm gluten-free, I can't have gluten. My fiance, she's gluten. She is celiac, so the worst form of gluten. She can't have fish or shellfish. And anytime we walk in, they will take care of her meal and she never gets sick. So it's just the best in any restaurant, but Don Vito's is incredible and it's inexpensive. That's what's amazing.
I
So
looked at the prices. I'm going to be honest, man. I was telling my wife we got to get over there. And first of all, I saw a pasta vagul and I was like,
yeah,
what? Like, like that doesn't exist out here. Like, I'm originally from New Jersey. I lived in Vegas now 7 years. So I'm seeing like, hometown, like, family restaurant ingredients and recipes
mhm,
and dishes. But the prices are, I was like, look at these prices, man. Like,
yeah,
the average plate, we're looking at what, under $20, a little bit over
easy.
20, easy.
13 to 15 bucks.
Price point is everything, especially nowadays. People are on the comeback from hardship and stuff like that. But I know that place is wonderful, man. And I want to ask you a question now about what people can expect, listeners from around the world and locals. What's your take now about what the visitor experience can be staying at a room, say for example a South Point, or just visiting Vegas in general when they come out?
I think this summer, and this is my view, and just watching what last weekend and the last 2 weeks have been prior for us of June 1st opening up and saying, hey, then you don't have to wear a mask. It's up to you, whatever the mask mandate rule is. But you're going to see a lot more travelers here in Vegas this summer, this block, and the summer months going into the last quarter because they've been so pent up at home, not doing anything, and they need to get away. The price points in the hotels are reasonable during the week, and the weekends are going to skyrocket. But one thing that we have to understand is that football starts in August. So we're going to have football, the Pro Bowl, and the draft, along with possible fight in the Allegiant Stadium, possibly SummerSlam, possibly a huge music event. So our town is going to be swamped. So we just went from nothing to a billion.
Yep. Oh,
And like a space shuttle going up. We are going to the moon, as we say in cryptocurrency, to the moon. It's so hard. So, but the problem is we don't have the staff. We're trying to hire everybody back. So we're shorthanded. So I would say this, if you're traveling to Vegas, please be patient with us.
yes,
We are
be
trying
patient.
to get back to being a green light, and that's hard to do.
And
So
listeners, like, yeah, pay attention to what he just said right there, what my man Michael just said. Like, they are looking for people, locals in Vegas that are looking for work, that have been out of work. And I know many of them. Check it
mhm.
out. I mean, this is a great casino, beautiful showroom, which I want to talk about in a moment. But I want to go back to sports real quick. We were talking about a big fight that could land in Vegas, which I know a lot about. We're
Uh-huh.
talking Tyson Fury versus
Yep.
Deontay
3.
Wilder, part 3.
That is huge, huge, huge,
Enormous.
huge. And as long as he doesn't come in wearing a 100-pound costume and a 200-pound head, he'll be just fine. I'll use that for an excuse because he was probably so pumped up in the locker room looking at himself in his 200-pound costume. He went in and third.
I was the biggest, supporter, still am, a loss is a loss. It happens.
Yeah.
We all have good and bad days. So I was a big fan of Deontay Wilder going into that second fight. And I was like, man, he's going to get him this time. He's going to finish what he started in the first fight. We all know that Tyson Fury came back from significant adversity in the first fight, but he got dropped in the 12th round. It came up. I don't even know how he recovered from that, but he did. And he actually won the round, which is weird. So I felt a certain way going in that, this is going to be Deontay's night. And then I noticed right away in round 1, I'm like, this is not going to be his night. Yep.
Yeah.
No legs, no, he just, his intestinal fortitude, he just, everything seemed off. And then he came up with every excuse in the book. And that's where I kind of like, turned heel a little bit on him and was like, you know what, man, if you lose, you could lose honorably and accept that loss. But I'm like, he's talking about everything, like water getting drugged. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, I'm like, just own up to the loss and get the rematch and then make matters right, And,
right. And that's what I almost really respect Conor McGregor. I mean, he talks the trash and he hypes the fight and da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? When he loses, he puts on his suit and he says, "That guy beat me tonight. I lost." Done.
Gentlemen.
Now, his antics outside of things, whatever, I don't care. But when he loses, he's humbled. Hey, we'll get a rematch. I'll see you again. Thanks for kicking my ass today. And he moves on. I mean, I love him for that. I mean, he's getting old, but I mean, it doesn't matter. He's always been respectful after he loses, unless he really hates someone, which we know some of those people he really hates, but it's still promoting the sport.
I agree. Sticking on sports, this weekend we got Mayweather versus which one is it? Jake or Logan? It's Logan Paul, I think
it is. Logan Paul, I think.
Yeah. I think it's Logan Paul. What are your thoughts on this, my man?
I think these things are jokes. I do. But you know what? If it gets people to watch, you're not, like you said, you're never going to get an MMA guy inside a ring and an MMA guy win a boxer. It just doesn't work that way unless they can shoot and wrestle. A boxer's going to sit there and pop the jab, slip, and throw the right, and you're done. And I think Mayweather's just going to invite him in. And then he's just going to dance around him a little bit. And then he's going to start throwing his jab. And he's too fast. Mayweather's just too fast. I can't stand him, but he's just so good.
He's so good, right? I mean, he's so good. And going back to music real quick, you were mentioning your showroom, which I've had the honor and privilege to visit. It is wonderful. It's state of the art. The sound in there is immaculate. I mean, you've had amazing artists there. If I'm not mistaken, you did have the Tower of Power there at one point, right?
Tower of Power was in our room always twice a year for about 8 years. Love that show. We had Dennis DeYoung, Mark McGrath, and Sugar Ray. We'll go from Tony Lando to Frankie Avalon and Debbie Reynolds and Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, and you name it. And the comedians, Jim Brewer, Joey Diaz, Rob Schneider, Norm MacDonald, all good friends, good people. And we have a variety of entertainment. This weekend will be Frankie Marino. And then we go to our old school Letterman. And then we'll have a local favorite, Shinta. I try to give the locals, the local guys a little pep in their step, to get them back up and running again. I just feel I have to do that. And, we just go. If you haven't seen, we're going to be putting on some shows here on sale finally in the next 2 weeks. It's just been a little while to get it up and running and getting everything dialed in and all the new pictures and stuff. But we have a great showroom. We have great entertainment. We have our Grandview Lounge. That's free entertainment over there where the Dirty and West Winners are. And then we have other events that we do in there. So, I mean, it's a worldwide of just stuff. I mean, at one time for 10 years, we were running 7 days a week, entertainment 2 to 3 times a day. That's how busy this little showroom is. And it's only 400 seats. So you don't have a bad seat.
No, there's not a bad seat in the house. And I know you're a music lover, and I know you had a lot to do with the design of the showroom in terms of how acoustics are set up and all that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. But your music background, obviously you love everything. Are you a musician? Do you play anything?
I can't play a lick or sing worth a shit.
You have a good ear for music.
I just have my ears and watching talent. I wish I can play. I can play the drums. I can keep a good steady beat, no problem. I can do that, no problem. But anything else, no. My fiance, she does the singing. I just admire singers and performers and comedians and all that stuff. And my family, they've been in the music industry for a while. They know how to play. It just wasn't passed down to me. I didn't get that lick. I got the dancing. I can dance. Well, but I just can't do anything else.
See, I can play music, but I can't dance at all.
I think I can sing and I sound like hell, but I try.
My wife will tell you after a couple drinks that I think I could dance, and I'll put on a random show for her for some reason. And she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I feeling my drinks." Apparently, and I had a dance off the other day with some cast members. I was a part of a show and it's funny. At first I thought I lost the dance off, but then I rewatched it and I said to myself, I think I won. Like I went back to it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think that the judges had it wrong, like a Vegas boxing decision. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I might be partial to myself. As far as music goes, I have favorite bands. I love everything. I love reggae, hip hop, jazz, especially rock. My favorite band is Rush, Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
yeah. What are some of your favorite bands, buddy?
Growing up, I of course was Phil Collins and Genesis, and then I'll go to Chicago.
Oh,
Supertramp. I love Supertramp. Foreigner, like you said, rock and roll, Led Zeppelin, Rush, Journey. You can even go Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Oh, I love the Horns. So all those classic rocks and the Beatles, I love. And then you can go new. I'll listen to anything. I love Bruno Mars, Michael Jackson. I freaking that guy was amazing. Loved Michael. Michael and Phil are, two different artists, but amazing people.
when you
But
saw
yeah,
Phil Collins, did you get the do 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 do
oh, always. I was
while
just
he was
waiting
singing?
for it. That's it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, awesome. I got so fanboyed. So I don't get fanboy girl, whatever how you call that damn thing, because I've never been to a concert. So when I saw the concert and I was backstage before he went on, there's four brothers, mom, dad, all of us, and I'm just sitting on a road case looking at him, and everybody's talking to him, and I'm quiet. Now, mind you, I've never seen a concert before. It's my graduation present. And Phil looks at me and he goes, "What's wrong with that brother?" So one of my brothers, and he goes, "He's in awe, and he probably knows every song, every beat, and he can sing everything with you." Phil looks at me and he goes, "Do you want to come up on stage and sing?" I looked at him and I said, "Maybe next time." And he goes, "What do you want?" And I go, "I just want an autograph and a picture." Got up, got my autograph and picture, left, saw the concert, said, "I'm moving to Vegas. I'm going to be in entertainment." That's the only person that I ever fanboyed over. And then for 3 years, every time he came to Vegas, I go backstage, say hi, have a good time, go to California, Hollywood Bowl, see him there. And it was just awesome.
Dude,
Nice man.
that is an amazing story, and it ties in and bookends exactly where we started. This interview is about, how you got to this place, and that was a game-changing moment in your life, man. Like
Yep.
we all
Loved it.
have those. We all have those moments, and that one was certainly well deserved. I know you work hard. I was going to mention this earlier, and I know that it must have been frustrating for you during the pandemic, because I know how much you love your job. And
I love it.
you love
I
it.
love
You're
it.
always doing it, and you're always enthusiastic about it. Everything you post on social media, which we'll get to in a moment, is positive. Like you're my type of guy, dude. Like you're out there every single day hustling, but in a good way and
Uh-huh.
positive way, getting the job done, making everything better for everyone. Like you said, man, you were cleaning toilets, and you did what you had to do to get
Mhm.
back to where you are now. And
Right.
we're talking about Rocky. That's the
Right.
story from coming from, the ashes of things and fighting your
Mhm.
all the way to the top. And that's what you do, man. I want to mention another thing about music. You have a familiar friend of mine, Bobby Kimball from Toto, which is one of
That's how
my
we
bands.
met.
That's how we met.
Love
All
him.
right. Yes, Bobby, great guy. Bobby's the original lead singer of Toto, and I failed to mention that before about being one of my favorite bands. If not, it's definitely my top 5 favorite bands
Mhm.
of all time. Your experience with him, you said he's a prankster. He likes to have fun.
He loves it. And I'll never forget my car ride home one time. I was driving, I had my 2 kids in the back, and they were like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Shh," and I'm talking to Bobby. We get to the house. It was an hour and a half conversation. And I sat in my truck talking to him. And he just loves. He's just a love. And he's so funny. And he just
Yes.
goes and goes. And I'm like, "Bobby, I just want to say hi and see how you're doing." And it just goes when you talk to him. I love him. He's the best
Oh,
guy. And the prankster, I'll never forget that day when we were at Buffalo Bills. We booked him, and I had to go on stage and announce him and stuff like that. But I had to do like the promo for the hotel and what radio station and and give people the up to dates. And I walk on, and he said, "Okay, listen, just look at me and I'll walk on, and then you can introduce us." And I said, "Okay." CCR did the same thing too. And I walk on doing my spiel, and then he comes and he sits right next to me. And I'm looking at him like, I'm not ready yet. And then all of a sudden, he just starts to play music in the background as I'm singing, as I'm trying to announce stuff. And he's going with the rhythm of my thing. So I'm looking at him, And then he just went off. He was just having, and then I'm like, finally, I just stopped when I was doing. I was like, Bobby, are you ready? And he and just kept playing. And I was just like, oh, Bobby. I said, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby really wants to play tonight. I need you to welcome from Toto, Bobby Gimbel. And he just went, but I love him. He's a great man.
Oh, he's
Speaking
the
of which,
best.
I do have to call him to get him in. So
Yes, absolutely, and we'll set that up for sure, man. I'm in great contacts with him, and what's funny about the contacts with Bobby, like we talk regularly. We're really good friends, and I worked with him before in the past on projects. And the best part is that when he calls you up, like you said, he likes to go, he likes to talk, which I love talking, obviously. And the best part is that when he talks, sometimes he sings and talks.
oh yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
John,
He'll just
I just want to tell you today that I'm in good, like I can't do it because his voice, but he's like, I'm like I hear Bobby Kimmel from Toto.
right. Right.
Like,
No, he's so funny.
there's like a
He's a great
rhythm
guy.
to his conversation.
It's so funny too. We had a show last night, and as we were exiting this convention, Toto came on to my playlist, and I was like, "Hey, Bobby!" So that's always
Oh
fun.
man, I tell you what, when I was in the studio with him, the most powerful voice I've ever seen. And it's funny because years prior to, before I met him, I saw them at BB King's in New York City, and the voice of him just lit up this room, and I could not keep my eyes off him. Honestly, I was like,
Mhm.
damn, this is like wow. So we get to the studio, and he starts singing. It has like a couple. He drinks a lot of water. Has a couple like bottles of water. Slams it, and then just like it's like okay, we could just go into like the tracking. And he just went right in and just like belts it like it was nothing.
Mhm.
And one take, I'm like, oh my god, like this guy, like how? And he's like, was that good enough? I'm like, oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
good.
no problem. Yeah,
Like,
he's awesome.
like,
He's
we got
awesome.
it.
And
Absolutely.
there's guys like that. I mean, in the 20 plus years of knowing them and comedians, everybody has a dark side, in this entertainment
Yes.
world. And you see it and you can help it, or, you let them be by themselves 30 minutes prior versus 15 minutes prior. Sometimes we visit. I mean, Jay Moore will have sit and have crab legs until it's showtime. Peter Noon, he will sit and just talk to you forever. And next thing you know it, we get the 5-minute announcement that he has to be on stage. He runs back in the room, whoa, changes and goes, Mikey, I'll see you later. And right on stage. And I just went, that's Peter, but it's weird how you see different people's on how they get ready and what they can and cannot do instantly. And they put on that show mode when they walk on stage. And that's home. I mean, that's seeing them on stage is their home. And then you see the different person when they're off stage, and you have that relationship with both of them, and you have that respect. And I'll never forget Ozzy Osbourne when he was going through his shakes and all that stuff, and we were shooting a commercial on Fremont in a free show, and I'm like, how is he gonna go on stage? He can barely talk to me. Went on stage, Black Sabbath played, and it all of a sudden, crazy. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And he was Ozzy. And then he comes off stage, frail. And I was like, whoa, that was wild. But that's their energy. That's the adrenaline of the stage.
That's their forum. That's their
That's their home.
place. Yeah, it's their home. It's their place to zen. Like you said, it's their home. And that's what makes actors great. Like I know a lot of actors that actually have stutters, and in real conversation, they fumble their words a little bit, but then they get on stage and they can pull off Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I don't have a stutter, but I couldn't pull off Shakespeare. Have you ever tried? I couldn't do that, even like I get, offered acting gigs from time to time. And I'm like, there's only certain things I feel like I pull off. And like, definitely like period pieces like that is not one of my things. And so I have friends that are really like, they have, speech problems, and, they get on stage and I can't believe how well they've done.
Right.
Because they're in their home, like you said. And I had experiences with Ozzy too. And I know exactly what you're talking about, man. But I saw him, I watched his band play at Ozfest back in, I'm going to say 1998 ish. and I was on stage, backstage, hanging out, and I saw him having complications, and then he went out on stage and he kicked ass.
Yeah, just killed it, and it's
Just
amazing to watch.
absolutely kicked ass.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
like
it's awesome, awesome. I do have to bring up something about you though, of what I've been
sure,
watching. So you've been doing your little boxing training and
yes,
throwing the jab and stuff like that. And there's one thing I noticed, and you wouldn't want to come against a person who's more of a counter, because I like to sit back. You better keep that left up and bring it back, because you can be slipped and hooked.
I noticed it. I thank you for that. I noticed I dropped my left when I throw my right.
Yeah, I saw it go down.
I
And
know.
on one of them, you went like this, and then you just brought it back down. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to slip that, come over you. And then one time you weren't bringing your right back. And I'm like, you gotta keep that here, because I'm going to slip you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was
No,
laughing.
I appreciate that, man. Let's go there for a moment. I know you're a big sports fan. Do you have a favorite boxer of all time?
Growing up, we were very good friends with Greg Hagen. He used to live here. He was the lightweight champ at the time. My brother worked with him in the corner, and he was just a good family friend. I loved watching those lightweights, him, Chavez, and you had Duran, and you had Marvin Hagler. I mean, those 80s and that boxing era, oh my gosh, you couldn't. I mean, ABC Wild World of Sports. I mean, this is before pay-per-view. And then when pay-per-view came in, and in 94, when we opened MGM, that fall going into winter, you got a chance to see fight cards. And then you had Oscar, who was a machine back in the day when he was a kid. And he didn't worry about being Mr. Tough Guy when he came out. I want to be tough now. No, stay a machine, because no one can beat you. But those days, Sugar Ray Leonard, I mean, oh, yeah, I could go on and on. I don't have a favorite, but I really enjoyed all that time period. I loved watching Tyson, and that whole thing with, of course, I'm slipping his name.
Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield, yep. Because anytime you got a real boxer against a Brutus like him, where he wants to come underneath your jabs and hit you in the gut, you know, what do you call it? Just kept him away, and it frustrated him, just like the other gentleman did. Lewis kept him away.
Yeah, wow.
But my brother was the ear guy. He's the one that did the ear, found the ear of Evander Holyfield that fight.
Wait a minute. Okay, we need to discuss this, if that's okay. So yeah. He actually picked up the missing piece from Evander Holyfield's ear?
Yeah. So at one time we all worked at MGM in the Grand Garden Arena, and I was off. I was gone. I was on a vacation, so I didn't do that fight. But my brother did, and he in charge of the ring. So the guys who tighten up the ropes, make sure all the things are in the corner, are responsible. I usually did all the video shoots. So, hey, there's Bo Jackson. Take a picture of him. Get him on camera. That was my job. So at that time, when that happened, Mitch ran in the ring when it was all spread out, and he has his clean team, and they got to clean in between rounds and whatever like that. Well, during that whole fiasco, Mitch looks down, and there's the ear. So he has his gloves. He picks it up in his gloves, folds it out, runs it back to the back of the locker room to the team, and goes, "Hey, here's the ear." And he has it on ice. He put it on ice and gave it to the team. And then after that, we don't know what happened to it, but never got sewed back on.
I have a little information on this. I had the honor and privilege to actually interview Evander Holyfield a couple times and in person. And this wasn't one of my questions. It was another reporter that asked him this question, but I was in attendance. And they asked him, like, the ear, how come you never repaired the ear? Because he still has the chunk missing. It's very obvious. Yep, it's very obvious. And so he's like, I saw it as a war wound. This is what made me even more famous. So I'm proud of it, and I accept it. And he forgave Mike for it. And he was kind of just like, it is what it is. What am I going to do?
Right.
Put this back on? He's like, it's not helping or hurting my hearing either which way. And very sharp guy. And speaking of Mike Tyson, there's a documentary on ABC. I don't know if you saw it yet. It's called The Knockout.
I recorded it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
good? Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay,
It
I
is
gotta see it.
it is a total of 4 hours, 2 episodes, 2 hours apiece.
Wow.
And you don't feel any of the hours, you don't feel any of the minutes or seconds. Like it's you just want more and more and more. And I know a lot about, obviously I follow the sport of boxing a lot. I know a lot about, I thought I knew a lot about Mike Tyson. And watching this, I learned so much more about him. And he is a definite success story of, trials and tribulations, someone that came from really bad stuff and obviously went through some damaging stuff and made some really bad decisions along the way. It's amazing that he's still on this earth, and I'm proud of him for
Right,
being here.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I have
but
to watch it.
that's
Have
the
you been
best way.
watching?
Yeah.
Have you been watching the A&E series of the wrestlers, the bios behind them?
No, what's this about?
Oh, so A&E every Sunday night behind the scenes with Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, everybody. Every Sunday they have these A&E specials. Check it out. They're on Sundays. I've been recording them all. Now, granted, I know a lot of already of the stuff that they've said, but every now and then you find something in there like going, oh, that was true. Oh, that did happen. Oh, it's incredible. These A&E series, I love A&E. I can watch all the biographies of everybody, but really, really cool. Watch them on Sundays or check your Direct TV or whatever you got, because I record so many of them.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
we're TV junkies over here. We have everything from Hulu to whatever it is I don't know about. My wife
Mhm.
runs everything, like she's the boss, as I call her. And it's we got all these apps, and it's crazy nowadays because there's so many ways to view content,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you struggle with this, like passwords logging into things, and then you
Oh
want
yeah.
to change it all the time, and it's like I just changed this, and now you get like password anxiety, and you have to like
Yeah.
get out a sheet of paper and start writing,
Oh, I
screenshot
had them
it.
in my phone. I have my phone. I'm like, what is this one? Oh, okay, that's right. And then Vanessa will say, oh, I changed it. And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me. So now that's wrong. So now we got to change it again because I logged too many times. Ah!
No,
Yeah.
I feel you 100%, man. And I am so thankful for you joining me today and sharing all this great wisdom of what's going on in Vegas and just fun conversation, because that's what people need. They need fun. They need to just get back to normal. And like you said, like a lot of people are out there doing their thing right now where we see a lot of people just out and about, and that's good, because they were, pretty much detained for like
Right.
18 months.
Right.
So now they have the opportunity to do so. Could we tell our listeners how we have the opportunity to follow all the amazing things you're involved in, which we just scratched the surface on? I mean, there's
Oh.
so much that you do over there as an entertainment director for South Point, to one of the best casinos, one of the most beautiful casinos that you could find in Las Vegas.
Well, you can always go on the South Point website, southpoint.com. It's the first hotel you see coming in. It's the last hotel you see coming out. We don't count M Resort because it's over there in the corner. But it's right there by south of Mandalay Bay and Raiders Stadium, the Death Star, as we call it here in Vegas. And you can just come anytime. We have everything and anything for everybody. We have 3 equestrian arenas, 2 bowling alleys, a movie theater, a 400-seat showroom, a 200-seat showroom, a sports book that's open 24 hours a day, and a horse book that's open. And they're 2 separate entities. And then we have VSiN, our content for sports betting inside our hotel, which we started here in Vegas. And that's about it. And we're here to kick butt. As of for me, I'm all over the freaking place. At South Point, always working, but you can always go to at Libo Stage on social media and find me. And I just like John said earlier, I just love life. I love being happy. If someone wants to ask questions, I can give some advice or just help them. I did that during the pandemic. I was helping people make EPKs and teaching them how to talk to entertainment directors when they get on the phone. That's probably the most frustrating thing for me, is when you have somebody ready to go and I pick up the phone and they're blah, or they're in their car and then they get hung up on. And I'm like, that was your opportunity, and then when you send an EPK, I need a new picture of you, not one of you in the 70s. Let's send some good stuff, good content. And so I was doing that during the pandemic. My fiance was like, do something you love, have some fun with it. And I was just talking to a lot of people, and I love life. I'm in cryptocurrency. I think that's a great little thing to be involved in, and make a little money. That's what my fiance does a lot of, and I just have fun, and smile and love life and work out.
That's what gravitated me towards you, with our friendship, is that when I met you, I noticed that immediately. And obviously we met, like we spoke about before, under like kind of like, a business circumstance, but there was like something there. And I noticed with your social media, and that's why I want my listeners to know about your social media, is that the positivity that you kept throwing out to the universe. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a very happy guy. I'm
Mhm.
into positivity. I'm into always progressive thinking, proactive thinking, mind over matter, training,
Yeah.
fitness, like things of that nature, um, family man, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, man, this is a no brainer to have you on, because you're just one of those guys that no matter what if someone knows you on a personal level or just sees what you're doing in this universe, they know that it's not negative. They know it's positive. They know that there's a lot of passion and commitment to what you're doing, and compassion. Because I also know that you do things for charity. I've looked at a lot of those
Yeah.
things, and that is wonderful. Like you have a huge heart. And when I see things like that, that really is a measure of a man. So
Yeah,
congratulations,
thank
my
you.
man.
Thank you. I just, you can go through your negatives, you can go through down times. Everybody's allowed that. This year with the pandemic was hard. I did lose my father. He
I'm
had a
sorry.
heart. It's
I'm sorry.
okay. He had a heart transplant. Had a heart for 18 years in his body. His body was 76. His heart was 47. And at that time of 18 years of having a new heart, it just wasn't working anymore. The heart wasn't getting along with the 76-year-old body, and it just didn't work. That's probably one of the hardest things in life, and learning to deal with that and spin it and make sure that, hey, we're positive, we lived a good life and we enjoyed life. And Vanessa, my partner in crime here, we do 100% of just being happy. And you know what, it's okay. This is the greatest saying, and I've learned it: feel the feels. So when you're sad, it's okay to be sad. When you're hurt, it's okay to be hurt. But you know what? You wake up the next day and you start over again, and it will eventually change. And that's all it is. It really is. And, just like if you're Buddhism, whatever, I got my faith, I got my dad's necklace. You know what? It's whatever that makes you happy. And that's all that matters. And there's no judgment at all over here.
I love it. Over here now. We end with the over here now, because I tell you what, man, that is the best philosophy for life. I cannot put it better than you, so I won't even try. But it is all about having, living your best life, and knowing that if you have a setback, you can have a comeback. There's always another day. There's always another breath. There's always another condition. There's always the sun will always come up. We're gonna sound like hippies here now.
Right,
I haven't
right.
smoked a joint yet today, so like maybe later, call me back and then I'll give you more of that. But
Sweep the lick.
Michael, yeah, right. I got the weed lip from the other day, But Michael, it was amazing, man. This was fantastic. It will be on everywhere: iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, YouTube, everywhere fine audio is heard. The show will be posted within the next hour or so.
Awesome.
I appreciate it, man. And I'll send you
No
links.
problem. And then we got to get another one out and just talk Star Wars.
Oh, I could do a whole. You want to go right now for an hour?
And I can keep going forever, because I was going to bring my little Grogu as we were going to talk.
Oh, don't get me started.
I was just going to sit there and let you see him. And then I got another one that follows me in the house. So I got two of them. One's a doll that follows me and does all the stuff, and the other one sits and moves and sounds like a little baby. And
okay, hold
nuts
on,
over here.
hold up.
Oh, you're gonna go get yours. Oh,
all right, here we go.
You got him too.
Here we go.
Oh, you want to go there?
We're gonna go there, man.
Hold on. Wait, I'll let you just look at the Ewok backpack.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right there. I can stay there. Oh, hold on. Darth Vader hand.
That is so awesome.
Blue.
Holy shit. There he is. Yes. Wait, hold on. We got to do this. Oh, wow. That is absolutely amazing.
Oh my God. And I have an R2D2 that's remote that follows me around. Yeah, we're sick in the head, really.
Well, this says everything right now. Ready?
Yeah. This is the interview right here. It's all about Star Wars. Hello, little guy. Oh,
This
yeah.
is incredible, and this will be a part of the show, so you know.
I love it.
How does it not? I mean, come on.
It's too cute.
It's way too cute. This is my guy right here. Do BB-8 too, man. Like when I saw The Force Awakens, I was like, they have something here with this one. Look at that.
Yeah, you can build those in Star Wars land, but I wanted my lightsaber first, and I said, Ness was like, go build the BB-8, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna save that for next time. Next time I'll build my BB-8. So I got my R2 when Star Wars opened at Disneyland. We were there at Galaxy's Edge, so it had a big opening. We were there. We're huge pen traders, so yeah, we're diehards.
Let me ask you a question. I'm a diehard too. What's your thoughts on I loved Hayden Christensen. I thought he did a great job. A lot of people have a problem with him.
Great.
I thought he did great. And I can't wait to see him back.
Oh, I can't wait. And the Obi-Wan series.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I know. I love all of it. The whole entire, you got to put things in their places of how this started and understand Lucas had to get the story out and how he became who he became. And I love Phantom Menace. And the second one was about the love story. And the third is the higher ground. I get it. You know, you got it all right there. And then shoving in Rogue One and Han Solo in between that. And then making these last three. I mean, so here's a backstory. Now we're going to go forever on this. Okay. When Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher passed away, a week before, they were with me in my hotel. And we did a show. And it was like Debbie's last show. And Carrie was there and her daughter. Everybody was there. And it was fabulous. And on my phone, it says Princess Leia. So Carrie called me and it rings, Princess Leia. I looked at my kids and I went, Princess Leia is calling me. Yes. Answered, hi, Carrie, how you doing? And I'm sitting there going, it's Princess Leia.
Of course.
For a joke. But I mean, it was incredible to see them. And she was so happy to be back with Star Wars and doing all that stuff and to have her daughter Lord with her and all that. So, I mean, it was cool. And those last three were incredibly made. And it's still the same story. I mean, when you watch Han walk into the scene with the Millennium Falcon and Chewie, it's just like,
Oh, I love The Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was excellent. It's very fast paced. Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, their chemistry was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And I also felt the same way about, Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones. Like, yes, there is a love story there, but when he has to flesh out, like, when he talks about the Sand People, like, I didn't just kill the men, I killed the women and the children. And you could see his torment. You could see, like, the anger rising. And then also, like, he has great acting chops when Padme in Revenge of the Sith tells, his character that she's pregnant, and he goes through like a lot of different emotions all in one scene without talking, like, and then he talks, but he goes through like a lot of different conflicts. And I think that that's what the character is supposed to be. And when people like shit on him about it, I'm like, dude, he did a really good job. Like, you know, with the dialogue, sometimes it's cheddar cheese, but it's a romance. Like,
Right.
that's what they
Right.
wanted. That's what the director and the writer wanted. Like the actor did what he was told to do.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that the newest trilogy was excellent. I really loved what they did with you know, the rise of Skywalker towards the end in particular. I love the redemption of Adam Driver's character and Kylo Ren.
Mhm.
I saw that coming. I told that to my wife after we watched, you know, the first two installments
Yeah.
of the new trilogy. I'm like, they're gonna have to redeem him. She's like, he killed his father. How are they gonna do that? I'm like, I know, but they're going to. It just
Right.
makes sense that they have to. And
Right.
I thought that their acting, like Daisy, let's face facts, man. They were both sexy. Like
Oh yeah.
they
They were
they
both did a
pulled
great
that shit
job.
off, man.
Yeah.
They pulled
Exactly.
that
Oh
shit
no.
off. Like
No,
you
it was
start to
awesome.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even when Chewie went up in the spaceship and he got
Oh,
done, the theater was like, oh my God. Oh yeah. Vanessa and I were like looking at each other like, are you kidding me? No, no. I mean, oh man, that was
oh,
so
dude.
good.
I was so messed up. So I got my my stepdaughter with me and my wife. And it's funny, I'll mention them real quick. We always go to the movies together.
Same
And
with the
yeah, when I saw Rogue One, the kid always sits in between me and
uh-huh.
my wife. So when I saw Rogue One come out and then the Vader scene at the end, I was shaking the kid, like shaking the hell
Yeah.
out of her. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't take this. And so the same thing happens, my point, when she was like, Chewie screams, I'm like, did she just kill Chewbacca?
Right.
Like, and then
Right.
we're also taking in consideration that it's very obvious that she's Palpatine's, you know, a somewhat of a family associate to Palpatine. So it's like we're getting hit with all this at once,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
I can't handle this.
it was incredible. The whole story, and back in the day, was he really dead? So it just left it perfectly. Going to the end of the evil counselor still alive
I'm gonna go
somehow.
watch it right now. It's so good. It gets better every time, man. It's so good. Like, you know, when we got to the theater and right away you see Kylo just doing his thing, and he goes finds the waypoint to the Emperor, and then he goes in there and he's like, "I'm here to kill you," and then the Emperor does his seductive thing that he done to Anakin and many people before him,
Yeah.
where he's like, "I'll give you more than you could
Hmm.
get from trying to get rid of me," you know.
Right.
And then Kylo's trying to like play it and figure it out because he also has to understand, okay, character development here. Kylo has to understand that, you know, he's not going to make the same mistakes that Anakin did and jump to conclusions too quickly. So he's going to like
Right.
try to like go through the motions, where Anakin was way more aggressive. Like he went from
Hmm.
0 to 100, and you know what
Yeah.
we did with Samuel Jackson's character and stuff like
Hmm.
that, you know, and preventing him from, because that whole shit could have been ended in Revenge of the Sith. This
Yep.
whole thing could have been done.
Yep. One time. Done.
One and done. But
Kind
Anakin
of
has
like
to
with
say no.
kind of like with the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy character. You screwed it up. It could have been done.
It could have been over with. So I mean, like the thing is, I think he wanted to like try to play his hand, and I think also the reason why he wasn't doing certain things in Kylo and jumping to conclusions is because he wanted to get with Ray. Like, let's
Right.
face facts, we're guys. You know,
Yep.
there's always an emotive.
I have a lightsaber. How you doing?
Exactly. So you want to show the lightsaber, and that's where
It's
we
this
get.
one. Stop thinking like that. Come on. John, I can't take you anywhere.
No, you can't. And you'll learn this. And my friends will let you know about that very quickly. But yeah, I think that the whole thing, if you look at it, like I tell everyone this about Star Wars, and I'll leave it here, is that you look at the Star Wars universe, it goes back to 1977 on film, but
Yeah.
the actual writing and everything that was manifest from it came in the mid 70s.
Right.
We are now in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing has survived, you know, decades, and also has survived different treatments, different ideas, and just recently had a run of the most successful thing that it's ever done outside of the original Star Wars trilogy with The Mandalorian and also other
Mhm.
concepts that they're dreaming up. What other film franchise like holds up to
Nothing.
that legacy?
Nothing. And that's what
Exactly.
makes it great, because you've covered our age, our parents' age, our kids, and the kids are going back to watch what we watched if we didn't tell them already. Because if you didn't, something's wrong with you, because that was one of the first things I did. But it's just, it is what it is. And it's the greatest thing in the world. Just love it.
I could not agree more, man. And you're among one of the greatest things in the world. You and your people, what you're doing, getting life back on track, like we covered before. We covered a lot of things. This was an absolute blast. I can't wait to come out to South Point and hang out.
Hey,
And yeah,
dinner on me. Let's come out and see a show.
dude, I cannot wait. I will be in touch about that sooner than later. And
Sounds good.
I also side note, I know some people that do comedy that I'll send over material, for
Sure.
your lounge that I think
Sure.
that you would really enjoy. And I'd like to definitely come out though and hang out with you, most importantly outside of business.
No problem, buddy. No problem.
And
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
of course, and we're going to talk about Star Wars for like another 7 hours at
Yeah,
some
we can
point.
keep going. We can keep going. Next interview, I'll have my Star Wars room done. And
Yeah,
all that
I
stuff,
think we
so
just go all Star Wars. We break down all 9 movies, and
there we go. We can do
then
it.
exactly, then bring up the other 2, and then plus the series is.
There you go. I'm game. Anybody
You
wants
you
to do
watch
Star Wars
Rebels?
talk?
You want to get hardcore? You watch Rebels?
Let's go. Let's go. We
Have
can
you-
do that with Marvel.
Dude, our wives are gonna kill us.
Hey, anytime. I'm ready. I've been waiting for Loki to come out because that's one of my favorite characters. I love freaking Loki. And now that that's coming out, now I'm going to binge watch WandaVision because I didn't watch it yet. And then I'm going to go right into the Loki. I love Loki. He's so cool.
Dude, this is awesome, man. I can't wait to catch up, brother. Thank you so much, my man.
Take care.
All
Be
right,
good.
brother. Yep.